Thank you for joining me for another Peace Project meditation. Meditation is a skill that we can all practice to help cultivate inner peace, relieve stress, reduce anxiety, and simply to explore our mind and conscious experience. Today's meditation will be an exercise in breaking free from obsessive thought patterns or negative frames of mind. So, if right now you're stuck in one of those, take a moment to separate yourself from whatever outside situation is causing that. If any inner turmoil, know that now is not the time to think about that. We're going to focus simply on getting out of those patterns and meditating. Let's begin with some deep breath. Go ahead and at your own pace, take in as much oxygen as you can. Hold it for just a few counts. And then go ahead and let it all out as much as you can. You're not going for speed or trying to do this the best you can. Really, the goal here is to make sure your brain's getting adequate oxygen. A lot of times when we're stressed, anxious, obsessed, our brain isn't getting what it needs. So really take this time to take really deep breaths, hold them in, make sure you're having that nice transition, you're getting your oxygen into your blood and getting rid of the carbon dioxide. And then when you're exhaling, you're letting that all out as much as you can. Hopefully just that breathing pattern has started to relax your mind. Now whenever you're ready, let your body breathe the way it does without you thinking about it. If we're healthy, our body breathes on its own. We don't even have to worry. So go ahead and just observe the way your body breathes. When we have racing thoughts, or thoughts that ask us the same questions or reinforce the same beliefs, hundreds of times, thousands of times a day, they can create negative thought patterns or negative frames of mind. These aren't helpful. Asking yourself the same question when you know the answer is not helpful. It's not going to change reality. See if you can let yourself accept and be at peace with that notion. This may sound complicated or unattainable, intangible, but just like meditating, where you're simply being aware of the natural experiences of your body, or of the breath that we normally use, just being aware of the way your body breathes, can be overlooked in its simplicity. So too is this fact of obsessive or repeating thoughts or negative thought patterns or frames of mind. The fact of the matter is, obsessive thoughts do not change the outcome. Negative mind patterns do nothing to affect the material situations. This is a plain fact, just as thinking about the sky being blue, or that you need to breathe oxygen and drink water to survive and eat food. These are just basic facts of our existence. Nothing that we will do will change these facts. You will never be able to live without breathing. You'll never be able to live without drinking water. And just in the same way, your negative thought patterns, your worrying, obsessive thoughts will not change the outcome. Many times, our minds and our bodies are looking for solutions. We're looking to achieve stasis and return to peace. And there are things that we can do that will affect the world outside and will affect change either within us or within someone else or something else that actually solve these problems and eliminate this stress. However, it's only the action and rational action that will change these. So anytime you get into an obsessive thought stream or a negative thought pattern, come to this space of meditation. And once you can be aware of just the realities of the situation, your breath, your heartbeat, the fact that you are experiencing, remind yourself that there is nothing outside of these that will change. This is acceptance. And this is peace. Your brain and your mind is trying to look for a solution in a space where you know there will be none. Understand that your body is functioning in a way that it is not meant to. Obsessing and being negative on yourself and holding yourself in a negative mental space will not lead to positive change, will not lead to any solution. But feeling this way and feeling those sensations is okay. You can imagine it in the same way you just did, beating yourself up over having obsessive thoughts, or forcing yourself into painful mental frames based on these will also not change the outcome. The only thing that will change the reality that you are obsessing over or stressing about or feeling negative about is to actually change the situation. And now, once you've reached a place of acceptance and peace, and it's okay if you haven't, getting over things like this will take time, and there is no shortcut in the process. But once you reach a state where you are at peace with the thought that only physical, rational change will change these events, you can begin to put these obsessive and negative thought patterns towards realistic solutions. Just for one example, I will share a personal story. I deal with depression and anxiety. Most of the time, my racing thought patterns and negative thought patterns stem from the fact that I feel as if I can do no good in the world. That simply the fact that I am involved will cause a situation to end negatively, or that I will ruin somebody else's life or my own, and that is just a given of my life. These are thoughts that I obsess over, get stuck in, and worry about. However, if I really truly come to peace with these thoughts and accept them that for what they are, negative thoughts caused by my depression and anxiety, I can move on from them and know that they are not telling the truth. They are telling me lies. Because I know that it is not based on a person intuitively. There is nothing based on them that will cause them to fail in every situation. That is not rational to think that way. Every outcome depends on the action that came before it. There is nothing set in stone that will change, that will determine the future. It is rationally impossible for me to think that in every situation I will do badly or I will ruin it. And once I realize that the only reason I'm thinking about this is because I have a mental illness and because my brain is trying to find a solution to that within the context of the mental illness, I can see past these things and focus on the actions that will cause good outcomes, that will make me feel successful and will not aid to this feeling like a failure. So right now, if you're ready, and if you're not, that's okay. As I said, this takes time. See if you can devise one rational action that you can take that will actually serve as a solution to finishing these obsessive thoughts or negative thought patterns. That doesn't involve hurting yourself, that doesn't involve hurting others, that only involves success, growth, and peace. For myself, it is to imagine that I am the same as any other human, and therefore I have the complete capacity to do as much good as anyone ever has. And so when I imagine that, I try to think of simple, rational actions that anybody else can take to make somebody or themselves feel better or more fulfilled. For a specific instance, we can look at this podcast that you're listening to right now. I spent a lot of time trapped thoughts that nobody would ever listen to this. But when I realized the facts of the scenario, that there were people out there who needed meditation podcasts, who would find what I had to say insightful and valuable, just by the fact that there are people who find these things insightful and valuable, I am now able to share them with you. If you're listening to this right now, you have proved my depression and anxiety wrong. And I can guarantee you that that same action will happen to you if you take a rational step forward in accepting and moving past whatever it is that's troubling you. Sure, there are going to be haters. The first review I ever got on this podcast was a 1-star review on iTunes. It depressed me a lot. It caused me a lot of stress and anxiety. I still think about it sometimes and let it get me down. But when I think of just one person who has gotten something good from this podcast, who has felt more peace or more relaxation, it all becomes worth it. And this is simply by accepting that actions change reality and nothing else will. So right now, again, see if you can think of that one rational, concrete action that you know will bring you peace or bring joy or goodness to yourself or somebody else. Go out after this meditation and do just that. And know that simply by performing that action, whether the immediate outcomes are good or bad, you are moving forward for your own health and the health of this beautiful world we live in. You can call the meditation to a close whenever you feel ready.
If you are interested in subscribing for free content or paid content, please visit themellow.substack.com. That is themellow, MELLOW.substack.com. If you enjoyed this meditation, please share it with your friends. Thank you again for joining me, and stay cool.